This is News Recap on Rulers World TV. I'm Ololade Balariwa. First, the airlines. Fubara makes triumphant return as Rivers State Governor. Federal government nationwide relocation of cattle to grazing reserves. Casino bandits demand schools, hospitals, grazing reserves in peace talk. Court martial sentences soldiers to death for murder in Bauchi. Oyo state government debunks crude oil discovery in Ibadan. Nigeria launches centralized passport production center in Abuja. United States casts six United Nations veto over Gaza ceasefire resolution. Now the news in details. Governor Siminalayi Fubara has officially resumed office after 6 months of political turbulence in Rivers State. His return follows President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's decision to lift the state of the emergency that has suspended democratic governance since March 2025. On Thursday, the Rivers State House of Assembly reconvened for the first time since the suspension, but the governor was notably absent, raising concerns among supporters. However, on Friday, Fubara touched down in Port Harcourt, receiving an hero's welcome from jubilant crowds who had waited eagerly for his comeback. With his resumption, democratic leadership has been restored in Rivers State. The Assembly has already called on the governor to submit new commissioner nominees and present a fresh budget, setting the state for a new chapter in the state's political journey. The federal government has directed that all cattle across the country be relocated into designated grazing reserves. The policy announced earlier this week is aimed at curbing the persistent clashes between the farmers and herders that have led to loss of lives, destruction of farmland, and rising food insecurity in different parts of Nigeria. Government officials says the move will also promote modern livestock management, reducing open grazing, and improve national security. However, critics argue that the most grazing reserves are poorly equipped, lacking basic infrastructure, such as water supply, security, and veterinary services. The directive has sparked debate nationwide, with some stakeholders calling it a long overdue step toward peace, while others insist it may deepen tensions if not carefully managed. The Katsina state government has confirmed that anti-bandits engaged is ongoing peace talk have demanded the construction of schools, hospitals, and grazing reserves as part of the conditions for halting attacks in the state. Commissioner for Security Nasiru Muhazu said the requests were presented during negotiations facilitated by community leaders in areas including Dan Musa, Jibiya, Batsari, Kankara, Kofi, and Musawa. Katsina has been one of the state's worst hit by banditry, with hundreds killed and abducted in recent months. Reports show that in the first quarter of 2025 alone, over 340 people were killed, nearly 500 people abducted across more than 240 incidents. The crisis worsened after the collapse of previous amnesty programs, which had initially reduced violence but later gave way to widespread insecurity across most local government areas. In response, the state government launched a rehabilitation scheme in July to integrate repentant government through literacy and vocational training. Authority says the bandits' latest demands are under a review as part of the broader peace efforts. Though concerns remain that granting concessions could embolden criminal groups while also exposing deep gaps in rural development and security. A general court martial sitting at Maxwell Cove Consignment in Jos Plateau State has sentenced private Lukman Musa to death by hanging for killing a tricycle operator, Mr. Abdurrahman Isa, in Azar Bauchi State. The judgment was delivered on Thursday, September 18, 2025, by Brigadier General Ali Hafiz Bello, President of the 3rd Division Army General Court Martial. Musa was found guilty of culpable homicide and illegal possession of ammunition. Court proceedings revealed that they conspired with an accomplice identified as Mr. Oba to lure the victim to his residence. There, he struck Isaac unconscious, strangled him, and later disposed the body in sack between Shira and Yala villages in Bauchi State. Investigators also discovered 34 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition in process without authorization. Delivering judgment, Brigadier General Bello described Musa's action as barbaric and heartless, stressing that such conduct is unacceptable in Nigerian army. Musa was sentenced to death by hanging for homicide, 2 years imprisonment for unlawful possession of ammunition, and was also dismissed from service with dishonor. Now, local news. The Your State government has dismissed reports circulating on social media claiming that crude oil was discovered in a well at Yemeti Ibadan. The viral video and post sparked excitement among residents, with many suggesting that the state had struck oil. In a statement, the government clarified that the claims were baseless and misleading, urging members of the public to disregard the rumor. Officials emphasized that no credible geological or scientific evidence supported the alleged discovery. The state further warned against spreading unverified information that could cause unnecessary speculation, stressing its commitment to providing accurate updates and development that affect the people of your state. Now on international news, Nigeria has officially joined the United States Kingdom, United States and France in advanced passport production with launch of centralized passports personalization and production center in Abuja. The new facility, unveiled by the Minister of Interior Olubumi Tunji Ojo, is capable of producing between 4,500 and 5,000 passports daily, a major leap from previous fragment systems spread across 96 locations. The world-class center, equipped with cutting-edge automated machines, can personalize up to 1,000 passports per hour, eliminating backlogs and ensuring applicants receive their passports within 24 hours of approval. According to the minister, the reform marks the end of manual processing delays and positions Nigerians among global leaders in travel document technology. Officials said the development aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda aimed at modernizing key national institutions. Nigerian Immigration Service has also migrated to Unified Passport Series, integrated into international authentication system, and automated insurance at home and abroad. Authorities believe the reforms will restore public confidence and enhance Nigerians' global standing in passport service. The United States has vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution calling for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire in Gaza. This marks the sixth time Washington has blocked a ceasefire resolution since the conflict began. The draft, supported by the majority of the Security Council members, demanded unrestricted humanitarian access and an end to hostilities, citing the rising civilian death toll and widespread destruction in Gaza. However, the United States argued the proposal failed to adequately recognize Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas' attack. The decision has sparked criticism from several countries and humanitarian organizations who accuse the United States of undermining global peace efforts. African officials meanwhile insist that any trust must come with concrete security guarantees for Israel and measures to prevent Hamas from rebuilding its military capabilities. That will be all for now on Rulers World TV. For more updates, visit our website at www.rulersworldtv.com. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rulers World TV, and to follow us on our social media and X, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, all at Rulers World TV. I'm Ololade Balariwa. Thank you for watching.